What's up, everybody? Welcome to yet another episode of The Rose Show. As always, I am your host, Jay. Who else but me and my girl Zoe here. Oh, man. Sorry, she's being a butthead today. It's literally right now, as I'm recording this, about 20 seconds ago, I just got off the line with our guest today, Lisa Marie Varon, and Miss Thing down here has been going crazy because she had to be in the other room and wasn't allowed in here. So she had to jump up and say what up to everybody, and that's the only thing that's going to calm her down because she's 7 months old and she can be a little crazy. But anyway, as I alluded to, my guest today is the legendary Lisa Marie Varon, aka Tara, aka Victoria. Just a real nice person. Man, it's not often that I get an opportunity to chat with people when before we're recording and after. And she was just so down to earth and so cool to talk to. And I think a lot of people are going to enjoy this episode. And man, we just have a conversation, and that's one of the things I like the most about doing these is I get to have conversations with people that I watched growing up. And she was at the latter years of my teens, obviously, because she started in being on TV in the early 2000s. So it was really cool to get to be able to talk to her. And yeah, so I think a lot of people are going to enjoy it, like I said. So I'm not going to talk too much because as I speak right now, I have a dog biting my finger, and I'm going to tend to her because if not, I'm going to have to be cleaning up some mess. Here's a word from my sponsor, and then we'll get right into it. My interview with the great Victoria. All right, everybody, it's time to stop and let you know about today's sponsor of the show, Crazy Martin's in Piqua, Ohio, one of my favorite places in the entire world to go to. Crazy Martin's has provided their customers with quality products for over 20 years, from ashtrays to water pipes and everything in between. Stop in, check out their selection, and of course, check out their pinball machines. With over 20 pins to choose from, there is something for everyone. Crazy since 1996. I don't just say this about every place. I love going to Crazy Martin's. I've always loved going to Crazy Martin's ever since I was of age to go to Crazy Martin's. It's one of my favorite places in the entire world. Me and my wife go there almost every Sunday to play pinball machines. It is one of the funnest spots in Ohio you could possibly find. It is in Piqua, Ohio. Check out their website at www.crazymartins.com. What is going on, everybody? Welcome to yet another episode of The Rose Show. As always, I'm your host, Jay. Who else but me? And today, I've got a two-time WWE Women's Champion, a five-time TNA Knockouts Champion, a former PWI Woman of the Year, and somehow isn't a WWE Hall of Famer yet. When I was like, that has to be wrong. When I looked into, I was doing my research for this. I'm like, there's no way she's not, but not yet. But it's going to be there at one day. It has to, absolutely has to. And some of us know her as Victoria. Others know her as Tara, but we all know her as a legend. Her name is Lisa Marie Varon. My friend, how are we doing today?
Oh, I'm great. Thank you. You're the first person that pronounced my last name correctly.
Hey, again, I do research on stuff like that. So,
oh my gosh. And you guys, like, about the Hall of Fame thing, it's not like we can pick up the phone and say, I think I should be inducted.
Right.
For me, you guys are more upset than myself. So
really,
when I hear that at all my appearances, it comes, means a lot from the fans because, they appreciate my work and like, all the stuff I did, you know what I mean? And I usually forget of all the stuff I've done. I feel like I should be 90, like Maya Mula, like all the stuff I've done, but that's number one question I get. Why aren't you in the Hall of Fame? I said, it's not my decision. And, yeah, I have no idea, Jay. I don't know.
Yeah. Hey,
I don't know, but
we don't know. We don't know either.
Comes, yeah. And everybody asked me, would you accept to be in the Hall of Fame? I go, are you kidding me? Of course I would accept. Honestly, that's a silly question. You know what I mean? Because I still eat, breathe, sleep wrestling still to this day. You know what I mean? Every convention, Comic-Con, RuPaul Drag Con, like all these conventions I do and signings at indie shows and stuff like that. So, I'm still involved in it. So there's no such thing as retirement in our business,
Yeah. Yeah, sure. That makes a lot of sense. Well, we're all pulling for you, that's for sure. But for today,
Thank you.
but basically, what I wanted to ask you is because when I do these kind of interviews, it's basically me just asking what I wanted to know ever since I first got introduced to you all the way back in the early 2000s. So I kind of just want to start at the beginning and get a little bit of your background and the early days of Little Lisa.
Little Lisa. Oh my God, that's what my brothers called me, Little Lisa, and my
Hey.
neighbors, Little Lisa. That's so weird that you just said that. But I grew up not wanting to be in wrestling. I was wanting to go to med school, and my job prior to getting into wrestling, besides personal training, was I used to remove heart, saphenous vein, bone, and middle ear and heart for transplantation. So um, when I was doing the retrieval of, the surgery and stuff like that, I come from a family, we like food. We eat high blood pressure, high cholesterol. It's just part of our background. And I was like, oh my gosh, is that my future? This is my future. I'm working on kids that are like younger than I am, passing away. And, I got addicted to working out. My ex-husband opened a gym and I started teaching aerobics there. And then he goes, you should start lifting, just doing aerobics, that on your knees and joints. And I started lifting weights and my body changed drastically like that because muscle burns more fat, right? And my
Sure.
body reacted since I was an athlete growing up, hip hop, gymnastics, and cheerleader. I was always an athlete, and having three older brothers, you're going to be an athlete, but thank God for them. They were good role models for me. You know what I mean? My family, and they never pressured me into to excel in school. It just was my oldest brother was my role model. He was, gold Olympic at Pan Am Olympics for wrestling, and all my brothers did amateur wrestling. And I remember them first coming to my show, and not my show, our show, and they're like, "Oh my God, this is crazy that you're following our footsteps, but just a little bit more exaggerated." And I remember my brother going, "That was a nice suplex you did." And I go, "What's a suplex?" He goes, "The flip that you did." And I go, "Oh, we call it suplex. It's suplex." He goes, "It's actually suplex." And I go, little did I know, you know what I mean? But I got bit by the bug. I ran into like Torrie Wilson and I did fitness competitions in the past, and we became best friends then. And I moved in with her in Los Angeles, and she brought me backstage when she was in WCW. And I couldn't believe. I go, "You get paid to walk someone out to the ring? Are you freaking kidding me?" And she was like, "Yeah, you should do this." And she was trying to get me in. And then I met China at a gym that in West Hollywood in California, and she came in. We started chit chatting, and I said, "Hey, I have two friends that are in the business because the fitness industry." I said, "I know Torrie Wilson and Trish Stratus," and she goes, "Wow." She goes, "You have a really good look. Have you ever thought about doing that?" And I said, I don't see myself walking. I was way muscle. I was a big girl, and I said I see myself doing stuff like RVD and Rey Mysterio because I was a gymnast. But then, of course, when I got into the business, my size difference, like I was taller and, the little girls could
Right.
do all the flying. I became the base, which I was very happy with doing the base. I was a base in cheerleading, catching all the girls and stuff like that. And it was such high risk doing flying. I was like, I'll catch all day. I'd rather hurt myself than you get hurt. I got you. You know what I mean? So didn't think I was going to make it. I'll be honest with you. It was just so difficult. Did not know what the hell I was doing. I just was like, let me try it. Let me just try it, and it bit me. I went to UPW that was in California, and Samoa Joe was there. Christopher Daniels, Jerry Lynn, John Cena, Samoa Joe, um, Kazarian. I mean, these were all names then. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And they beat the hell out of me the first day. I said, "Hey, I got a call from WWF and they want to meet me in a month. Can I come to your school? I need to learn how to wrestle." And I thought it was like a dance routine or a gymnastics routine that you can memorize. Did not know what I was getting myself into. And uh, Came back the next day. We did bumps, bumps, bumps. I don't know how to bump. Tuck your head in, and you're talking to a gymnast that lands on her feet. You don't land on your back or your chest or on the side. You know what I mean? And came back the next day, and they all looked at me like, "What are you doing here?" And I go, "Was I not invited? You guys said I can come back." And they said, "We didn't think you were going to come back." And I go, "I'll be honest, I can't turn my head this way, but now I have 29 days to get ready to meet them at Staples Center." And Samoa Joe took me to the side, and he goes, "Okay, I'm going to teach you the basics. Just simple things, footwork." And he took I think I got the respect after coming back after they kicked my ass. You know what I mean? There were a couple girls there, but they weren't wrestlers. You know what I mean? So it's all guys, and that school, then when I was in WWE, Jerry Lawler, I became a Godfather Ho. That was my foot in the door. Of course, that's not what I wanted to do, but I was like talking to people. I was like, "Oh, I really want to wrestle." And then Jerry Lawler found out I want to wrestle. And then JR and Jerry Lawler said, "You need to move to Memphis if you want to learn how to wrestle." And I'm like, "Oh, really?" So I went to JR and said, "Hey, Jerry Lawler says I should be moving to Memphis." And he goes, "Oh, you want to get in the ring and physical?" And I go, "I thought that's what you guys saw me doing." And they said, "Okay, we'll have a meeting about you." And then next weekend, because we worked every weekend, and Kevin Kelly came up to me and he goes, "Hey, how quick can you get to Memphis?" And I said, "When do you need me by?" And he goes, "In a week." My ex-husband and I lost our first and last month's rent, got a U-Haul, packed our shit up, drove all the way to Memphis, got an apartment, and started training there full time. And that school was closing. It was a developmental territory. So was UPW and MCW. And then they moved us. Some of the people went to Cleveland, Ohio for HWA. Then I got sent to Ohio Valley Wrestling, OVW. And that school is medical school. If you're going to go, I started in community college. Then I went to, the 4-year, get my bachelor's. And then when I went to OVW, that was PhD. I was in class with David Batista, John Cena, Randy Orton, Brock Lesnar, Shelton Benjamin, all these big names. Jim Cornette ran it, and Danny Davis, Eugene, Ron Conway, all the people that when I went to school, we all made it. And it was you can't have a normal job on the side. You train 5 hours a day, and then whenever we can get booked, wrestling in front of a gas station, wrestling at a church, it was just get in front of the crowd. And I still was green. I didn't know what the hell I was doing. But Eugene and Rob Conway said, "Come an hour or two before our regular class, and we'll work with you and give you a little more hands-on." So, my God. So medical school wasn't in store for me.
Couple follow-up questions here. When you were okay, obviously you said that you never wanted to be a wrestler. Were you a fan as a kid at all, or was this something that you just eventually walked into? So you weren't a fan at all?
Knew Hulk Hogan and China and just the big names that did commercials and movies, and
Okay.
Roddy, Piper. And I started watching it when Torrie got into it, just supporting your friend. And I was like, wow, I think I can do that. I think I'm an athlete. I did gymnastics. I think I can pick this up really quick. And you can't learn how to wrestle in freaking a month. I'll tell you that.
Sure.
It takes years and years. And even to this day, I still want to vomit before performing, even if I'm reffing or just doing a run-in or just giving my move. I get so nervous because, when you get older, you can't mess up, and you don't want them to see you age, and when you're a rookie, you can't mess up because you need to keep your spot. You know what I mean? And it was incredible. Holy crap. When I talk about, when I do these podcasts, I can't believe what I've done in my career. It's incredible.
when you were in UPW training, one of the things that I found interesting when I was looking up your history was you went by HBIC. Now, the reason why I brought that up and the reason why that triggered me was because obviously that stands for head bitch in charge. And Mia Yim herself went by that just recently in the last couple of years. Was there ever a time, like, did she know that you used to go like that? Did she ever contact you and be like, hey, is it okay if I use this? Or was this one of those
No,
things? Because that's
no, but
that's
I'm
very
good friends with
similar.
her. I wrestled her in TNA. No, but I don't care if anybody uses my stuff or it's flattering when people. I don't think she knew anything about it, but I was so green at UPW. I was a Stacy Keebler. Of course, I'm not Stacy Keebler build, but I was the girl in the
Right.
secretary, and then occasionally get involved in a match just so I can learn how to work the crowd. And I always tell people that want to be wrestlers, it's always great to start off as a manager because you're ringside. You hear everything. You know what works. You start learning how to listen to the crowd and know when you're supposed to talk. I'm not there to take away the show. They should be watching the wrestling, and I'm just an added sidekick to make it more entertaining and get the fans booing or cheering and stuff like that. But I didn't know. No, I don't think she knew that at all. But she's, I love her. She's great, and I'm proud of her. It's about
Yeah,
time
for sure.
she's getting the.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. She's excellent. I'm a big fan of hers. And I got a chance to see her. Oh, wow. I want to say this was like 2018. Again, I live in Dayton, so like we get a lot of wrestling coming this way. And NXT used to do house shows at the Arnold Classic every year in Columbus. And I got to see her tag with a very young Rhea Ripley, who I don't think either had just debuted or was getting ready to debut for NXT. I can't remember.
Wow.
And to see them both like, and it's funny because I remember thinking this. Oh, this is going to sound horrible, but I don't know how else to say it except to be honest. I remember thinking like, wow, that Rhea chick, she's kind of vanilla. I don't think she's going to go anywhere. Wow, was I wrong? Yeah,
Yeah, and
it
you know
was quite
what
amusing.
too? What's crazy is there was a lot of people doubting that, oh, she doesn't know what the hell she's doing. She's not going to make it. I was so green, you know what I mean? And
Yeah.
it lit a fire under my ass. It made me work hard. I'm like, okay, I'll show you. Not only am I going to learn this craft, I'm going to make it, and I'm going to be a staple, and I'm going to work my ass off. You know what I mean? And even when you're there for a long time, you still don't slack. You always, even
Yeah.
you're there a long time, you still want to go, how do I perfect my craft? And all of us girls would get to TV or house shows early to work with Ricky Steamboats, Arn Anderson, Fit Finley, Regal, Lance Storm. All the guys used to come in and help us out. And, everybody we were a team. Everybody wants to succeed. He wants to see you succeed. You know what I mean? So when you're there, I always say that if you're not nervous for a match, that scares me. You should always be nervous. You should always be nervous because that still means you care.
That's fair. Okay, so we all know, everybody knows about your WWE run and all that good stuff. Obviously that's where all of us know you from is when you started there. But I honestly feel like where you really got a chance to shine, and I was a gigantic TNA fan at that time, is when you went to TNA because TNA was kind of like the place where you could really, show that, and I think you'll understand what I mean here. But when you were in the WWE, like everybody was focused on, the Stacy Keeblers. At that point in time, it wasn't about, women's wrestlers who could wrestle. It was more about the look. Now, granted, you had both, but at the time in WWE, it just seemed like more people were focused on your Litas, your Trish Stratus, or whatever. But again, when I thought you went to TNA, I was like, wow, this is the star that she should have been. How did you end up making your way there? And do you have any specific thoughts on your time between being in TNA versus your time in WWE, or is it equally the same to you?
Well, we all watched TNA because the girls were like freaking main eventing and stuff like that. They didn't get any, they were free to do what they wanted. More freedom. I'm sorry, not whatever they wanted, but
Yeah.
more freedom. And us WWE divas, whatever, back in the day, I don't even know if we were called superstars at that time, but
No.
I didn't plan on going there. and my 90-day no compete clause came up, and TNA was looking out for that. And I got a call on my 91st day after WWE, and they said, we would like you to come aboard. And I said, hey, okay, well, I got to think about it. And they were like, we want to debut you soon. And I was like, well, send me the contract. Let me look at it. And I said, let me have a lawyer look at it. Well, we want to debut you in 4 days. And I remember the contract, WWE contract is like dictionary. And when I got the 15 pages from TNA, I was like, hey, I'm waiting for, this is when we have fax, the printer and stuff like that. And I said, I'm waiting for the rest. And he goes, how many pages did you get? And I go, 15 or 16. He goes, yep, that's our contract. And I go, what the hell? What? And what they offered me, TNA, they didn't pay very well. They wanted to sign me for 3 years. And I said, hey, I'll tell you what, I'll sign up for a year and I'm going to prove to you guys I'm worth more. I'm taking a big cut here. I could have been sitting on my ass at home and just done 3-minute matches and made more money at WWE, but I chose to leave WWE. I asked for my release. And I was there, and then they wanted to sign me another year. I mean, another 3 years. And I go, hey, I'm a little older. Let me do another year. I wanted to do just to fill it out. I wanted to know the office and production and stuff like that. But it wasn't about what company was better. I had amazing opponents. That's how I looked at it. So which one's better? I couldn't tell you. It was more organized at WWE, bigger crowds and stuff like that. But, I made some amazing friends at TNA and Impact Wrestling, whatever. And I had some amazing matches with girls I've never wrestled. And when I was watching that, it's like, wow, I never wrestled her. I never wrestled her. Why didn't she get a dark match? Why didn't she? I always went, I always did the dark matches or Sunday Night Heat or Velocity. And the girls would have a tryout. And I was like, God, I've never worked with any of these girls. And I was like, man, maybe I'm not done. Let me try it out. Let me do it. You know what I mean? So I was there for 4 years and had an amazing career. And then I daddled in independence. Like at TNA, you're allowed to do independence. You know what I mean? They don't lock you down and say, you're only working our show. You know what I mean? Because we filmed 1 weekend a month to film all of us shows once a week. So we had 3 weeks off, Yeah, but it was amazing. It was incredible. I was ODB. I was her maid of honor, I was obsessed with like Gail Kim and Awesome Kong's matches. And it was, I was like, oh my God, they are kicking ass. You know what I mean? And we still were having like the hardcore matches and stuff like that, but we still would occasionally have Halloween costume contest, lingerie matches, or bathing suit contests and stuff like that, or dance contests and stuff like that. But they got more time on TNA, not just by the time when us girls would come out in WWE, we would have 7 minutes, and then we would get to Gorilla, where that we're about to go out through the curtain, and they would say, hey, you guys got 4.5. And we're like, oh, of course, we have to cut our match because someone went long. You know what I mean? So, as girls, we always kept our time, like the time cues and stuff like that, because, I don't want Undertaker to go, hey, you creeped in on my match. You know what I mean? So it's disrespectful not to hit your cues so the other match can have some time. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Yeah, and I don't know if, and people can debate this if they want to. I don't care. And again, I was a huge TNA fan when you debuted. I wasn't even watching WWE at the time because in the height of the John Cena era, it just didn't appeal to me. And I don't mean that in like a hipster fashion or anything like that. It just wasn't a product for me. Like they had the Muppets on TV, and it's just I was in my middle to mid 20s. I didn't care, right? But so I was
Right.
getting my wrestling fix from TNA. But I don't know if we have the women's wrestling of today if it wasn't for your guys' work in TNA. And again, you can debate that all you want, that's fine. But the women in TNA when you were there were putting on actual wrestling matches. Like you said, yes, you were having the lingerie matches. You were doing, whatever else they did in TNA, and it was goofy at times, but a lot of things that wrestling is goofy, and that's fine. But you guys were actually putting on real wrestling clinics at TNA. And the response in WWE was your Beth Phoenixes and your AJ Lees. They were responding to the work that you guys were doing, which opened the road for what we have today. And I don't think you guys get the right credit for doing that. I don't.
You okay, well, I was lucky, like in my career, I got to do matches. They didn't look at me like, oh, we need to have her do a bikini thing. You know what I mean? I did get to have the hardcore street fight the first ladder match on WWE against Lita, and I had amazing people there, and also too, it wasn't us girls that were doing the storyline. It's a show. Hey, you got this match. This is what the story wanted. You know what I mean? And yeah, TNA, they were like they were able to wrestle, and also too, what appealed to me was all shapes and sizes. You didn't have to be model, skinny, size 3,
right.
Barbie doll looking kind of gal. You know what I mean? It was all shapes and sizes, and I think it's now WWE, all shapes and sizes and stuff like that. But when I was in WWE, Fit Finlay, when he took over the girls, he made us kick ass like freaking strong chicks. I mean, like he excelled us, and it's because of him our generation got to do a lot of that stuff, not just be the eye candy to walk a guy out and occasionally get hit by or kissed or or distraction, that kind of stuff. You know what I mean? But yeah, TNA was amazing too. Like I enjoyed both of them, and now both shows are amazing. You know what I mean? I'm proud of that. I got to experience both. I got to do a match in ROH. This is way back then, and experienced the indie circle after the fact. I made it, and yeah, it's crazy that God, I feel like I should be 90. Like I said, Jay. Serious.
Hey, I get it. I get it. I'm 38 and
Yeah.
I feel like I should be 60, but typically that's just because I'm mentally a senior citizen already. But so
Me
over your
too.
time, is there anything specifically over your time in wrestling, like if you had to pick a couple of moments where you're like, this is what I remember the most, this is what I cherish the most, is there any real specific things that would surprise people, or just memories in general you're like, this is what I think about my career, this is the crowning achievement?
Okay, of course, when you win the title the first time, that's memorable because you get a pat on the back that you're doing well. Now you got a target on your back because they only had one girls match a night, but the road, like, traveling, if it was less than was it 4 or 5 hours, we had to drive. Wait, 4 hours, we had to drive to the next town. But the stories and the friendships that I developed outside of just wrestling, keep in mind, we spend more time with wrestlers than our own family. So, like, Chavo Guerrero is one of my best friends. I consider him a brother. Carlito, ODB, like Gail Kim, Trish, Lita, like whenever we get together at conventions, it's like going back, nothing has changed. And I find that, we get together with a high school pal, and you're like, God, we're talking like it's just continued on, that kind of stuff. But the road stories, um, the exhaustion, getting 4 hours of sleep and then try to hit the gym in the morning before you get to the building, because we also had a tan back then, and then us girls had to get there early to get our hair and makeup done and find out what we're doing. But I do treasure the friendships, and what I tell everybody in the business, or to be human, or anybody normal, okay? Be nice. Kindness goes a long way, and being humble. You are only as good as your opponent. You don't go into like, oh man, I'm the shit. You know what I mean? You always go back and say, hey, thank you for a great match. You made me really look good. You know what I mean? Like the heels sacrificed a lot for the baby faces. And, the heels back in my day, we didn't do a lot of appearances. So we got left out a lot, making extra money because we were bad guys. You know what I mean? But always think your opponent and be easy to work with. I was always, this is my longevity, Jay. I was easy to work with. Like, if they messed up, like I didn't get hot. I didn't get mad. I'd go, you lost. I learned from Jazz. She led me in matches at OVW. You okay, baby? All right. I'm going to come back. You're going to fight up. Okay. All right. I'm coming back. And then cause you're deer in headlights, it's not memorizing a whole match. It's calling it, and, being so easygoing. And like, if you mess up, no one knows you messed up. The fans don't, unless you slip and fumble. The ropes might be oily. That's not our fault. But we'll continue on. It's okay. Hey, I'm sorry. I forgot that. And I messed up on your move. That's okay. The fans still bought it. They still enjoyed it. And we still followed up with something kick ass. You know what I mean? But my longevity was being easy to work with and showing up to the house shows, like, and Christy Hemme. I told Vince McMahon, I said, give me Christy Hemme. I don't care. I'm going to make myself look like an asshole. I'm going to make her look like $1 million. Give her to me. And we would go 3 hours before house shows and meet with Ricky Steamboat and or whatever agent is there and go over like, this is what this move is, because she had to learn on the spot on television without school, no training. She had to learn on television. And in our generation, the fans are not forgiving. They're like, oh, she sucks. They're going to let you know you suck. You know what I mean? Which is not fair. It's a lot of pressure. I always dare fans, like, you come in here and get one shot. It's not acting and go, cut, let's do that move again. We're live. We got to freaking, something gets fumbled. Our head go, and usually the heel has to take control of this. And start leading it. And the heel has to listen to the fans. Oh man, they're not cheering for this girl. I got to turn it up and cheat and go shit talk a fan and make them hate me. You know what I mean? So yeah, it's just, my longevity was, I'm just being humble and I'm grateful of what I've done. I have no bitterness, nothing. I have no anger towards this business. I still do signings. What do people call me? Victoria. Tara,
Yeah.
And sometimes now it's more common, Lisa, because my podcast and our podcasts and stuff like that. And but I'm never going to shit on what made me. You know what I mean? I'm very grateful. I had an amazing career, and I made wonderful friends. I look back at what I've done in the business, just like cage match, street fight, hardcore match. Holy shit. Like it was nuts. You know what I mean? And me being so green, not knowing what the hell, me not knowing wrestling. Here I am doing hardcore matches and freaking cage matches. And I'm like going, what? This is baffling. But yeah, always work hard. And even though you've been there for 20 years, you still want to work on your craft and get in the ring and, get dirty and learn your opponents. And my favorite part was after the shows, we go have dinner at TGIF, shoot the shit and just let our hair down, take our fake eyelashes off, put our baseball cap. Oh, but now they have business casual. We are allowed to go out and go jeans and a nice shirt and like baseball cap and go bowling at midnight. You know what I mean? But the bonding, yeah, I got to work with amazing people. Just, geez, like to say that I worked with Hulk Hogan and The Rock and Stone Cold and Triple H and just Chavo, like all these amazing freaking wrestlers that are legends. I'm not being politically correct at all. I now know I'm 53. Now you appreciate, you're older and wiser.
Yeah.
Let me just say, right? You're older and wiser and you can appreciate, holy crap, I did this? Holy crap, And then when you talk to normal people, you think everybody, I'm used to talking to wrestlers, and when you talk to normal people, they're like, "You were on the road 4 days a week," and I go, "I know, yeah. Why do you think there's a high divorce rate? Because we're not
Yeah.
home enough, you know? Yeah,
Yeah. I have a background in music, and the couple of tours that I went on, granted I was gone for 30 days at a time whenever time I would go out, but I found out very quickly that that life is not for me. And people don't understand, like, I get asked all the time, like, dude, you've been to so many cool places. I said, no, 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 no. I've seen a lot of cool exits. I've seen a lot of cool, on the side of the road. I've seen all that stuff. And not only that, like, you don't understand what it's like to be jealous of people with running water in beds. And it's a
yeah.
hard life. Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
a hard life, and people are like, "Have you been to Italy?" Yes. What'd you think of it? I go, "Well, the bus ride to the venue was beautiful. It's not like I'm taking tours and going sightseeing and all that kind of stuff. I've been to
Yeah.
Japan. How was it?" And I go, "I had to do a lot of meet and greets and go to companies and say thank you for being part of our
Yep.
business." And this is what I always say too. When you talk to someone that wants to get into it, but they know nothing about it, you know, it's not like you bring your family backstage.
Right.
You're on a job. You don't bring someone to your
Yeah.
office or workplace to go hang out. You know what I mean?
Yep.
And when I come home, I have 3 days to get ready for the next road trip. You think my ex-husband, got the glamorous Victoria in lingerie and bikini? No, he got pimple cream, a bun, a moo, not wanting to talk, recharge my batteries, have to do the laundry, get to the gym. I'm not talkative. Hey, do you want to go out to dinner? No, I've been on the road. I just want to stay home.
Right.
I want to be in bed with the dogs. So the people at home get the shit end of the stick. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's a big sacrifice. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
always be careful what you wish for, because it's don't get me wrong. I wouldn't take it back for the world, but it's a big sacrifice. That's why that song "Sacrifice" is so fitting for a business. Yeah, it's just like musicians and entertainment and movies. People that do that, you know what I mean? You're gone for a long time. You end up growing apart. I got married too young. You know what I mean? And we grew apart. We
Yeah. Yeah. No, a lot of people think, especially on the musician side, like they think of playing in front of gigantic crowds, which does happen. But what they don't think of is literally sleeping in the back of a budget truck because you were driving since midnight and the venue doesn't open until 12 and it's snowing and you're in New England, Boston area. And this is a real story too. It is a snowstorm outside and I'm curled up inside of a blanket just hoping to get 4 hours of sleep because I got to do all this again tonight. And that it's hard. And there are people that love it, and that's great. Not for me.
yeah.
So,
Yeah,
you know,
yeah. You have to be really cut out to be a little bit selfish, I'll be honest with you,
yeah,
because your body is our body is our job, our face. Girls, we can't age, we can't gray, we can't get wrinkles. You got to get both. You have to look the part and take care of your body. See your chiropractor. And when I would say, like, we see masseuse, like a massage, it wasn't the pleasurable massage. It's the ones where they hurt and break down the freaking muscle so it heals back
yeah,
and gets all the you know all the creaks and all that kind of stuff. But when I went home, I'm not home all day. I go, okay, hey, see you later. I'm going to the gym. Then I need a tan. Um, I got to get this makeup, or I have to get more. We were independent contractors. I got to get hair extensions. I had to pay out of my pocket to get it done. It's just you eat, breathe, and sleep wrestling. Just because you go home, you're not off. You're like, shit. I got to do laundry. I got to wash my gear. Um, repack. Make sure my knee brace is in there. Like, go to the gym. Make sure I have food. Like, eat healthy. But I'm too tired to eat. I just want to sleep. But you're just a zombie when you get home. You're just walking out of habit. What's the word I'm looking for? It's just a routine. You're just like,
routine.
okay, I
Yeah,
gotta get up.
yeah,
Yeah, it's not like I get to go out and go, oh, there's a party at my friend's house. I'm like, I don't want to go see people. I'm done. I go, I've been entertained. Even, and then also too, when us wrestlers go back to the hotel, there's fans waiting for you. So you don't want to disappoint them by being shitty. But back in my time, heels can be heels and go, hey, I heard you cheering for Trish. You know what I mean? No, you don't get my autograph. I can go into character, but you got to remember, we need downtime. We need to recharge for the next day and just get proper nutrition. By the time, remember, like, you would leave the building. What's open? McDonald's, Waffle House, IHOP, and greasy, fatty, shitty food. It wasn't like we didn't have these pre-meal prep things that they have now, which is great. But protein shakes, you're like, I'm too tired. I'm just gonna have a protein shake. You got to eat. What if we have a big match tomorrow? I go, I'll get something tomorrow. I'll get some. I'm just too tired. I gotta go. I gotta get some sleep. And yeah, don't get me wrong. I sound like I'm complaining. The best time in my life.
Hey, I get it more
seriously.
than most. I absolutely get it. I absolutely get it more than most. But as we wind down here, I
Yeah.
always tell anybody who was in the industry, thank you very much for what you did put yourself through for our entertainment. Because for me, it was, I grew up, my earliest memories in life is watching wrestling. Literally since I was like 4 years old, I've been a fan and still am to this day. So thank you very much for everything that you did and put yourself through for our entertainment. It is much appreciated. And I know a lot of people don't probably tell you as much as they should, but in my eyes, you are a legend. That's how I view you and everybody in that area and in that era. And again, thank you very much, and we appreciate it. So I'm going to go ahead and give the last couple of minutes to you. If there's anything specific that you would like to plug, by all means, the floor is yours.
I just want to plug in fans and all the wrestling community. We are family. Just because I'm a wrestler and you're a fan, we still are bonded. I don't care who you are. You're not bigger than anybody. The wrestling fans is just as important. Just follow my social media. Really, Lisa Marie is mostly most of them. You'll find out what I do on the road and when I plug in. I just started a Twitch channel, twitch.tv, really Lisa Marie. Oh, wait, twitch.tv/really Lisa Marie, which is right after I have to get ready for that now to do my watch along. And it's free, you guys. So very excited. And I just want to say, I don't need to plug in stuff. You guys know, just follow me on social media. What I need to plug in is just, I appreciate everybody that is supportive and loving and forgiving, because we are human and we do make mistakes. And thank you for your love and support.
Awesome. Lisa, it's been a pleasure. Thank you very much.